I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
My homies, what's poppin', man? Another UFC card to break down. Vicente Luque taking on Belal Muhammad. A super necessary rematch. Man, UFC 273 was a madness too. You know, Khamzat and Burns. My bet was Burns to leave round 1. You know, fight to start round 2. But that matchup was a madness. You know, I said it last breakdown too. You know, Khamzat decision, look into it, plus 400. You know, Khamzat went from I kill everybody to thank you everybody, which is kind of funny. But yeah, that was a great fight. The main event, you know, Volkanovski, that guy's a beast, just a beast. And of course the co-main event, you know, Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling, a little bit of controversy, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to speak a little bit more about the co-main event in the smoke break though, but for now, let's start the card. Let's go. Alright, starting off this card, we've got Heili Alateng taking on Kevin Croom. I want to start by saying Kevin Croom is a madman. You know, the dude fights like a... You know, he fights like a madman. You know, the output is pretty decent. He just kind of leaves himself open to a few big shots. In all fairness to Kevin Croom though, you know, he's far from a boring fighter. He does actively try to make things happen, which you see in the UFC debut. You know, insane UFC debut. Now on the flip side, you've got Heili Alateng, who was winning his last matchup until he decided to grab the fence. Now all depending on which ref you've got, you can grab the fence 100 times and not have a point taken. Or you can grab the fence 1 time and now you're nearly being arrested. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately for Heili Alateng, you know, he grabbed the fence 1 time. The ref took a point straight away, which resulted in that matchup ending in a draw. If I'm being completely honest with this matchup, guys, I don't really trust Heili Alateng and I don't really trust Kevin Croom. Like I said, Kevin Croom's a madman. He's got the output. He's going to try to make things happen. But on the flip side, you've got Heili Alateng, who's maybe more powerful, maybe a better wrestler, but he grabs the fence. You know, he can't win a fight. Even when he's winning a fight, he can't win the fight. I'm not going to bet on either guy, but if I had to make a pick, I'd go with Heili Alateng. You know, the logic ain't too great with that prediction, but like I said, I don't really trust either guy. Alright, moving into a matchup between Sam Hughes taking on Istela Nunes. Sam Hughes is a high-level trash can. She's a high-level trash can, man. I really think she is. You know, she's had some difficult matchups against Tecia Torres, good Muay Thai fighters in Loma Lookboonmee and Luana. Now she's got to fight another decent Muay Thai striker. You know, the only way I can see Sam Hughes saving her UFC career, the only way I can see it happening, she's got to take the opponent to the mat. Not only take the fight to the mat, but keep the opponent on the mat, you know, or look to find a stoppage there. Now on the flip side, guys, you've got Istela Nunes, who had a tough UFC debut against a girl who's eaten a lot of steroids. Let's be honest, Carnelossi, you know, this girl is on steroids. You know, a little pit bull, super aggressive, powerful puncher, physically strong. Now all of those things that I just noted for Carnelossi, Sam Hughes has none of that. You know, she's not aggressive, she's not a powerful puncher, she's not on steroids, it doesn't look like it. You know, this is a way easier matchup from a striking and grappling perspective for Istela Nunes than her UFC debut. I took Carnelossi against Nunes and I was kind of sweating to start that fight. I think what Istela Nunes showed us in that matchup, her striking's pretty good. You know, she's not super easy to take to the mat. And like I said with Sam Hughes, you know, I don't think she's ready for the UFC. I think she's a bit of a trash can. So my prediction on this one, I've got to go Istela Nunes. If I had to pick how she beat Sam Hughes, you know, TKO, decision, submission, none of it would shock me. You know what I'm saying? Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Trey Ogden taking on Jordan Leavitt. Now initially when I looked at the resume of Trey Ogden, I noticed that he got submitted 2 times. Not 1 time, 2 times by Thomas Gifford. Yeah, getting submitted 1 time by Thomas, it's enough to be arrested, in my opinion. But Trey Ogden got submitted 2 times by Thomas Gifford. You know, that's not good. Now, if you look a little bit more at Trey Ogden, right, you're going to notice, despite losing to Thomas Gifford, he is still a good fighter. He is still a good grappler. You know, the guy has good jiu-jitsu. And then if you look a little bit more at Trey Ogden, you know, the jab's pretty good. The high kicks, the body kicks, the low kicks. This matchup's going to be jiu-jitsu versus jiu-jitsu. You know, Trey Ogden wants to grapple. Jordan Leavitt wants to grapple. Who's going to win this matchup? Initially, I was thinking Jordan Leavitt. You know, you see Trey Ogden get submitted by Thomas Gifford. You make that pick. You know, Jordan wins the fight. But I'm not going to go that way. I'm going to take Trey Ogden to win this matchup. I'm not saying his jiu-jitsu is way better than Jordan Leavitt. I'm not saying he's going to out-grapple Jordan Leavitt. But if you look at the striking difference between Jordan and Trey, there's a big difference with the striking. And if you have two grapplers that cancel each other out and it plays out on the feet, I like Trey Ogden. You know, the high kicks are good, the body kicks. So purely for Trey having the better striking, that's going to be my prediction. But I will say this though, guys. Getting submitted 2 times by Thomas Gifford, you know, that's grounds to be arrested. That's bad. My prediction is the newcomer, Trey Ogden. Alright guys, I'm going to spark the blunt on this one because we've got a mini simulation glitch. Now last week we had Marcin Tybora, who low-key was just the kid from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We've got another simulation glitch right here, and if you can see it, amen to that. Guys, Chris Barnett, low-key, is just mini Mark Henry. This is mixed martial arts Mark Henry. Now, if you didn't watch WWF or WWE, you don't know what I'm saying. But there was a wrestler called Mark Henry, and Chris Barnett looks like him, man. He's the mini Mark Henry. Come on. And he throws spinning shit. Now looking at Chris Barnett and his skill set, right? The skill set is like kicking, spinning. It's a good skill set, but we do have to acknowledge that Chris Barnett is undersized for heavyweight. You know, he's 5'9". You know, his gut's not undersized. His gut's pretty big. You know, he's a big boy, but he's 5'9". Now on the flip side, looking at Martin Buday, this guy's pretty nasty in the clinch. His boxing's also better than Chris Barnett. Logically, guys, I think the fighter that has a safer skill set, it's going to be Martin Buday. So yeah, I've got to make that pick. That's got to be the logical prediction. Obviously, shout out to Chris Barnett though. You know, mini Mark Henry, spinning to the head. I just don't like that Chris Barnett's 5'9" at heavyweight. You know, it's not something I can bet on. I like the last fight. Like I said, guys, I like it. It was nice. But my prediction has to be the newcomer, Martin Buday. And he probably gets a stoppage. Alright, moving into a matchup between Rafa Garcia taking on Jesse Ronson. Now, Jesse Ronson's back after serving time in the steroid jail. You know, that USADA steroid jail, man. Too many picograms in the bloodstream.
Pictograms and picograms. See that?
You know what he done to Nicholas Dalby. Nicholas Dalby was firing a lot of kicks, but at some point, those picograms in Jesse Ronson's bloodstream, they take effect. Now guys, the opponent, Rafa Garcia. I'm not the biggest fan of Rafa Garcia. You know, he was pretty decent in the UFC debut against Nasrat. You know, short notice. He was pretty good in that fight. It's not like he was causing a big amount of damage to Nasrat, but on short notice, to turn up like that, use good pressure. The UFC debut was decent. Now guys, when you look at the matchup and look at the performance against Chris Grutzmacher, horrible. Really bad. You know, Chris Grutzmacher was ripping to the body. Rafa Garcia's cardio, man, shocking. It kind of looked like his diet was tacos. You know, really what you've got in this matchup is a guy who eats tacos for his diet versus a guy who was in steroid jail because his diet wasn't tacos, it was steroids. You know what I'm saying? I'm not betting on this fight, but if you take like a COD 4 golden AK-47 with a red dot and you point it at my head and I had to make a prediction, I'm going to go with the guy that takes steroids. I'm going to take Jesse Ronson to win this matchup. I'm not betting it though, no way. Alright, moving into a matchup between Drakkar Klose taking on Brandon Jenkins. Now my prediction on this matchup, I'm going to side with Drakkar Klose to win this fight. And the reasons why I'm going to make that prediction, a GSP style Brandon Jenkins, I was not impressed with the UFC debut performance. I was not impressed.
But I'm not impressed by your performance.
Now on the flip side, Drakkar Klose, you know, the striking and the wrestling. He's fought good competition. Mark Diakisi, Lando Venata, Bobby Green, Benil Darush. You know, you could say all of these fighters have better striking and wrestling than Brandon Jenkins. Drakkar Klose really shouldn't lose this matchup. He's got better boxing, better kicking, better wrestling. Yeah, that's got to be my prediction on this one, guys. I can't pick Brandon Jenkins. Now, guys, moving into a matchup between Lina Lansberg taking on Pannie Kianzad. Right, hear my logic on this prediction. There is such a thing as an MMA god, right? Maybe more than one, right? The MMA gods, it's a real thing. Now, recently, guys, the MMA gods allowed Sarah McMahon to win a matchup. She's 40 years old, right? That's a madness. Now, my read on this matchup is going to be Lina Lansberg is also 40 years old. So yeah, are the MMA gods going to allow two 40-year-olds to win basically back to back? But it's not going to happen again. You know, they don't operate like that. My prediction on this matchup is going to be Pannie Kianzad to box the nose of Lina Lansberg. You know, striking or grappling, I think the pick has to be Pannie Kianzad. You know, Lina Lansberg 40 years old, but Pannie's fresher with more experience. The mixed martial arts gods are picking Pannie. I can assure it. That's my prediction. Let's go. Alright, I'm sparking the blunt on this one because, let's be honest, man. Devin Clark versus William Knight at heavyweight. It's illegal. Come on, man. It's illegal. It is illegal. Man, if Joe Rogan was doing this breakdown, I guarantee you he would say Devin Clark has tree trunks for legs. I guarantee you he would say that. Now, Devin Clark is primarily a wrestler, but he's not a heavyweight wrestler. On the flip side, you've got William Knight, who missed weight by like 20 pounds or something crazy like that against Maxim Grishin at light heavyweight. And now you've got William Knight fighting in the same division as Francis Ngannou. This matchup's illegal. If I had to pick like who's the better striker, who's the better kicker, I would side with William Knight. But if I had to pick who's the better wrestler, despite not being a heavyweight wrestler, I would pick Devin Clark. It's a matchup I'm not going to bet on, but if I had to make a prediction, man, I'd side with like Devin Clark, maybe, but yeah, it's a weird matchup, guys. You know, Devin Clark's not a heavyweight. William Knight's not a heavyweight. What do you do with this one, man? It's going to be a weird one. I'm going to side with Devin Clark. Maybe he can wrestle with William Knight. Alright, my homies, you know what time it is, man. And if you don't know what time it is, you best get to know. It's time for a smoke break. If you waited to smoke with me, amen. If you've been smoking this whole time, double amen. If you're not a smoker but you enjoy the smoke breaks, that's a triple amen, gang. Let's go. Now, guys, I got two questions on the smoke break. First question, we're going to keep the same energy with the 2-fight parlay. So go to the comment section, drop down your 2-fight parlay. Now, the second question on the smoke break, it's got to be Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling. How did you guys score that fight? Now, for me personally, guys, I'm going to sit on the fence a little bit. If you go back and re-watch round 1, guys, how do you really give that round to Peter Yan? How do you really give that round to Aljamain Sterling? Like, what did Peter Yan really do? He lands a body kick, the 1-2s land on the shoulder, he lands a calf kick, he lands a punch at the end of round 1. What does Aljamain Sterling really do? He doesn't do anything. He does laps in the octagon. You know, lands like 5 body kicks. He doesn't do anything. You know, really, that's a 10-10 round. You know, that's a draw, in my opinion. But yeah, guys, go to the comment section. Let me know your 2-fight parlays. Let me know what you think about the scorecard on Aljamain and Peter Yan. Let me know what you're smoking too. Alright, let's get into breaking down this main card. Let's go. Alright, moving into a matchup between Pat Sabatini taking on TJ Laramie. Now, guys, really what we've got with this matchup is free money, right? We've got free money with this matchup. You know, the mixed martial arts gods basically said to us, look, I'm going to give you 2 wrestlers, but one of them's a complete trash can, and the other one's like an American Habib. You know, they're giving us free money on this one. I really believe so. My prediction on this matchup's going to be Pat Sabatini. This guy's awesome.
Is he fucking awesome?
You know, the chain wrestling's really good. The relentlessness, the grappling, man. Pat Sabatini, he might be the real deal. Now, on the flip side, if you're TJ Laramie, man, you've got to go to eBay or go to Amazon and try to buy like a mixed martial arts Bible. Buy that Bible, read it front to back, then back to front, and then send like multiple prayers to the mixed martial arts gods. That's what you've got to do if you're TJ Laramie. You know, I really think this one's going to be free money, guys. You've got two wrestlers with a similar skill set, but one of them's really good and the other one's not too good. So yeah, my prediction, Pat Sabatini probably gets a stoppage over a decision. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Mayra Bueno Silva taking on Yenan Wu. Now looking at Mayra Silva, you know, this girl's super powerful. This girl can crack. You don't want to get hit clean by Mayra Silva. I know she got outclassed by Fialho, but 95% of the weight class is going to be outclassed by that girl. You know what I'm saying? She's got a really decent striking skill set, has Fialho. Now if you look at the opponent Yenan Wu, she hasn't really got a good striking skill set. And you could maybe argue that the better grappler would also be Mayra Silva. Man, I've watched like all of Yenan Wu's UFC fights. I've watched them all every time she's fought. And I'm still asking myself like, who is Yenan Wu? You know, what is this girl good at? The only win she has in the UFC is against Lauren Muller. And that was like 4 years ago. It's pretty much a must-win fight for Yenan Wu. But I ain't going to make that prediction, guys. I'm going to side with Mayra Silva. I think she's far more aggressive, much better striker. If I'm trying to think of ways that Yenan Wu might win the matchup, if she does win the matchup, you know, maybe you think back to Mayra Silva getting tired against De La Rosa. But then again, De La Rosa's a pretty good wrestler who imposed that wrestling game. What is Yenan going to impose? You know, what does she do? Yenan is just Yenan, you know, what is she gonna do? I don't know. My prediction on this matchup, guys, I'm gonna side with Mayra Silva. Alright, moving into a matchup between Fialho taking on Miguel Baeza. Yeah, this is a pretty decent matchup, you know, like a striking matchup. If you look at Fialho in his UFC debut, he showed a bit of boxing. You know, Michel Pereira's more of a kicker, more of a crazy guy, and he was trying to use those kicks against Andre, which he did later on in that fight, you know, round 2, round 3. He started to find some success with the kicks, but purely looking at Fialho, you can see it's the boxing that he's trying to use. Now on the flip side, Miguel is also a striker. He can crack with the hands, you know, he can crack, but he is a good kicker. The calf kicks, they're pretty violent. So really what you've got with this matchup is going to be striker versus striker. There shouldn't be too much grappling. If anyone's going to grapple in this matchup, it should really be the guy who's losing the striking. You know, if Andre's getting kicked a bit, maybe grapple. If Miguel's getting boxed up a little bit, maybe grapple. But really what I see with this matchup is going to be a striking matchup, boxing versus kicking. It's a good matchup in all honesty, guys. I'm going to side with Miguel. And to be honest, he was doing good against Chaos Williams until he just got sent to Shadow City, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, my prediction is going to be Miguel. Alright, moving into a matchup between Kyle Barnett taking on Gadzhi Omar Gadziev. Yeah, quite a difficult prediction to make in this matchup. You know, Kyle Barnett on the Contender Series looked pretty decent. I cashed him as an underdog against Aaron Jeffrey. You know, Aaron was trying to strike a little bit, but it didn't look too good. And Kyle basically showed us, look, I can teep to the body. You know, my striking's pretty powerful. So when you're looking at the skill set of Kyle Barnett, I would say he's primarily a striker. Now on the flip side with Gadzhi Omar Gadziev, this guy is a Russian, right? He's a wrestler. And in all fairness, you know, when you see him get that takedown on the Contender Series, it kinda gave you Khabib vibes. So that's what you've got in this matchup. You've got two guys making their UFC debut. One seems to be a striker, the other seems to be a wrestler. It's a difficult prediction to make, but if you stick a Golden Desert Eagle COD 4 to my head and I had to make a pick, I'm going with the Russian on this one. That Russian wrestling, you know, seems a little bit safer than picking Kyle Barnett. I will say this though, this matchup is going to be the most difficult matchup for both guys so far in their career. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's a difficult prediction to make. But yeah, I'm going to side with Gadzhi. Alright, my homies, main event, you've got Vicente Luque taking on Belal Muhammad. Now, before I get into the breakdown, if you enjoy my predictions, enjoy my breakdown, enjoy the content, make sure you Hamzat smash the like button. And make sure you Hamzat smash the subscribe button too. Let's go. Alright, so Vicente Luque taking on Belal Muhammad. These guys have already fought. You know, complete dustoration for Vicente Luque in the first matchup. If we're being honest on this matchup, Vicente Luque is one of the most violent welterweight fighters in the UFC. Now on the flip side, Belal Muhammad isn't knocking people dead, right? He's not violent from a striking standpoint. But what Belal Muhammad is really good at doing is wrestling. You know, this guy is an awesome wrestler. And you see that against Stephen Thompson. You know, a lot of people took Thompson to win that matchup, but it's always going to come down to who can do what they've got to do. You know, Thompson is a way better striker than Belal Muhammad, but if Belal Muhammad can take you to the mat, fatigue you know, continue to take you to the mat when you're fatigued, it doesn't really matter how good of a striker you are if Belal can impose that game. So yeah, man, ultimately this rematch is a really good rematch. And to be honest, I think Belal Muhammad maybe disrespected Vicente a little bit in that first fight. You know, if you go back and watch it, Belal's trading like he's going to do something. Now, obviously, both guys have had a lot of matchups since then. Vicente Luque knows what Belal wants to do. Belal Muhammad, on the flip side, knows how violent Vicente Luque is. Initially, guys, my prediction on this matchup was going to be Vicente Luque, but I'm going to change my prediction. I'm on Belal Muhammad to win this fight. I know Vicente Luque is a way better striker, a better kicker, a better puncher. He's super violent, but if you look at what Belal Muhammad does to the opponent, you know, uses good movement on the outside and then level changes. And that's what he's going to do to Vicente Luque. It's a good matchup though. It's a difficult prediction. Alright guys, post your 2-fight parlays, your main event, your co-main event, your underdog, straight plays, all of that good stuff. Post it in the comment section below. Alright, keep your eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. Mac Miller. Alright, peace.